Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I gotta say is, who that?
Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Before we get started, I made some adjustments to the soundboard here at the station. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me before I really just go into it. Can everybody hear me? If you are in the chat right now, if you can hit a yes, or just say loud and clear. Just let me know if you can hear me loud and clear before we go ahead and get started. I apologize, man. It's kind of hard to kind of prep for these type of things, especially like when you have to go live. So it's kind of hard to do. So thank y'all for that. I see Chris. Thank you. Who that Jay? Thank y'all for confirming that for me. But this is the podcast where we talk New Orleans Saints, and I really do appreciate your time. I'm at the radio station here this evening. We got an event coming up this weekend called Tour de Plantersville. It's a bike event. So been here since early this morning trying to get everything that we need. I kind of enjoy these remote broadcasts that we do here at the radio station when I get to go out in the field and be able to go and take part in some of these events. So it's an actual bike-a-thon. All right. You can ride 12 miles, 25 or 60 miles. And people come from all over to take part in this event in the low country of South Carolina. So looking forward to doing that. This is probably our 5th year doing it. So just, trying to make sure everything is straight, man. When you're doing your little GM thing, man, you got to make sure the ins and outs of the station are running effectively. But, enough about that. This is a Let's Talk Saints episode of the State of the Saints podcast. Been a minute since we did a show of this magnitude. Basically, this show, for those that don't know, it probably just rolled up on this channel. We are basically just taking questions from loyal listeners like yourself. We probably going to go about 20, 25 minutes today. I'm just going to be taking questions about the team. But before I get into that, I do want to mention a few things. But first, I got to mention the sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast, which is MyBookie. MyBookie is the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. And, they've been doing it for quite some time. It's a app where you can place your bets. As of right now, I'm going to go ahead and look at the line for the Saints versus Rams game. I want to see if it had changed in any way, shape, or form. So the Rams are a 14.5-point favorite over the New Orleans Saints. So, I mean, that's a huge line, especially when you're thinking about the National Football League, 14.5. But if you feel like the Saints are going to cover, you can place your bets at MyBookie. Or you can use the promo code Saints to take part in the $500 buy-in option that they have. You can bet up to $500, and you can bet risk-free. So make sure that you use the promo code Saints. Once again, use that promo code Saints to place your bet if you feel like the Saints are going to cover that 14.5 that they have the Rams favored over the black and gold. Also, I want to mention some of the injuries that the Saints have, and some of the guys that took part in practice or did not take part in practice. So on yesterday, if you're watching this live on a Friday, which was Thursday, was yesterday, Devon Gottschall did not practice. He had a veteran's rest. Alvin Kamara has been dealing with an ankle injury over the last couple of weeks, has had light practice over the last couple of days. Devin Neal also joins Alvin Kamara having light practice. I know the Saints, they signed Evan Hall, a running back. I want to say he came out of Northwestern, if I'm not mistaken, man. I remember Evan Hall at the Senior Bowl a few years ago. But their two starting running backs are a little nicked up, dealing with light practice over the last couple of days. Rashid Shaheed with a hip injury. I think we all saw Rashid Shaheed go down late in the game. He's dealing with a hip injury, so he had light practice on Wednesday and Thursday. Lante Taylor, who also went down dealing with a shoulder injury, had light practice Wednesday and Thursday. Juwan Johnson dealing with a neck injury, but was a full participant, as well as Chris Olave dealing with an ankle injury, was a full participant for the last couple of days. So, even though the New Orleans Saints have had their fair share of hardships throughout this season, they've been relatively healthy. And, you got to give credit to the strength and conditioning team this season, keeping the New Orleans Saints players pretty much on the field. Them being available has not been the issue. It's just been the product when they when they are on the field has been the issue. But that's your injury report for your blue and gold. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and take some questions. Like I said, put your questions inside of the chat. Very, very simple. And I'll read them and we'll go from there. Let's say now we not covering that. Maybe 20 we could. Yeah. I mean, look, I don't know, man. I mean, like, I look at the fact that Brandon Staley understands Sean McVay, so that might be an advantage a little for the New Orleans Saints to be able to cover. I don't expect for the New Orleans Saints to win. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. I don't think I have to do a prediction show this weekend to do that. As a matter of fact, I know people notice. They're probably wondering, why hasn't TJ done any prediction shows? Because is it really worth it at the end of the day? I mean, I don't want to keep on having these same conversations. Oh, the Saints going to lose, Saints going to lose, Saints going to lose. Like, come on, man. We know that this is a tough year for the black and gold. So no need to be sitting up here giving you 12, 13 minutes of something that a lot of you feel and already know more than likely is going to happen, especially when you're going up against some of the top-notch teams that are playing for things much bigger than just trying to beat the Saints on Sunday, even though they'll tell you, oh, we just taking it one game at a time. Whatever. Who that Jay says happy Halloween. Yeah, happy Halloween to you too, man. My son Paxton, he's excited about it. He woke up this morning like it was Christmas. Got out the bed, dancing around the house, talking about Halloween. They were able to wear their costumes to school today, and he was just so excited about that. So he loves like going out trick-or-treating and stuff like that and putting on his costume. So he was excited, like he had toys downstairs under the tree or something. But yeah, happy Halloween to those out there that may, take part in the event. Juan can sit a few games. I guess you mean Juwan. Yeah, I mean, look, they're going to keep on trying to play him because, I guess they feel like he's the best they have to offer at the tight end position. And, head coach Kellen Moore spoke very highly of Juwan Johnson, which I can understand why. Because they need him to work out. But at the end of the day, look, Juwan Johnson isn't that good at the tight end position. And, I just think they can do a little bit more. Like, I'm not going to say that Juwan Johnson is so bad he doesn't belong in the league. He belongs in the league. I just don't feel like he's a number one tight end, and the Saints are using him like he's prime Mercedes Lewis or something like that. And that is definitely what he is not. And speaking of Mercedes Lewis, he actually got signed by Sean Payton and the Broncos. He's 41 years old, got signed. So on the ageless wonder, Mercedes Lewis back in NFL yet again. Says, what's your assessment of the Rams? I think the Rams are one of the best teams in the NFC. I think that the Rams, if they catch fire, can find themselves knocking on the doorstep of a Super Bowl or even playing in the Super Bowl. They have a really good pass rush. I don't think I have to talk anybody into believing that Matthew Stafford is still a top quarterback in the league. Puka Nacua is emerging as one of the top wide receivers in football, even though he's dealing with an injury. And Kyron Williams is a really good running back, and they have a really good stout offensive line. I don't see too many holes on this team besides their secondary. But, at the end of the day, I think they're a very formidable bunch. And when they are motivated, they're a very dangerous team. So I think that they could be there in the end. They have that type of talent on the team. It says, let me see, it's rapid fire time or Who Dat Nation? Let's go. Yeah, man, just put your questions inside of the chat and we'll just continue to kind of roll with that. It says, as long as you're honest, that's all that matters. Yeah, I mean, look, it's about being honest and being real about, the state of the team. I get it, Dalton, but at the same time, I don't want to just keep on telling people things they already know. It's like, if you ever seen this movie Life, I'm probably going to lose some of you with this, but Life, the movie starring Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy, and there was a scene where everybody was kind of like sitting around outside, and one of the guys had a letter and none of them can read, and Eddie Murphy ended up like taking a letter and reading the letter, and then the letter just had like all type of bad news in there, talking about his mama died, his sister died, brother died, the crops didn't come in, all these type of things, right? And then at the end, Eddie Murphy asked, like, anybody else got a letter? Like, nah, man, we we don't need to read it. We good. That's just kind of like what it is. Like we know every single week, like it's going to be tough for the New Orleans Saints to find a way to win a football game. And just sitting up there just telling you like all the bad qualities of a team and why they probably more than likely going to get beat is I'm pretty sure it's pretty disheartening at times. And sometimes, like as a fan, I tell people this, and I said this on the last episode, I don't take any pride in bashing the Saints in any way. Like I don't like wake up in the morning like, I want the Saints to look terrible. Oh man, like they look terrible. Let me say this, say that about them. Like I don't take any pride in that. I want to see the Saints be prosperous, but yeah, it's kind of hard to like be doing these prediction shows when everybody kind of on the same page and know what I'm about to say. Will the trade actually happen before the trade deadline, or will they stay pat? Well, I don't think that Mickey Loomis is in a business of just giving away players because the Saints look like they're in dire straits. Sometimes, like you can't, show your hand, even though you may not have enough, have the cards on the table to win the pot. You know what I'm saying, Slim? Like you just because like a team may look desperate, you can't show desperation. So teams are going to be calling because they look at the Saints being 1-7. And they feel like, oh, man, what you going to do then? Like, okay, I could throw this at you. Like, at least this can kind of help you for next year. But you can't, like, just be desperate and just have this fire sale and, looking like Eddie Kane outside the concert, looking desperate out there, right? With the old costume on that he wore from the original Heartbeats. Like, you can't do that, right? Like, in this process, even though it looks, like, dire, like, you can't just sit up here and just let somebody just fleece you. Now, some people will make an argument, well, Mickey Loomis was getting fleeced and he was actually trying, but you don't want anybody to fleece you, right? So, I understand like why, they're trying to hold on to these players and trying to get the best value they possibly can. And if they can't, then, you just got to take it for what it is. Like, you don't want to just be sitting up here giving talent away and just getting 6 and 7 round picks for guys that probably more than likely not going to make your team, or, you're going to have to find ways to try to make them work just because, you are low on talent and you're hoping that those players in those 5th and 6th rounds can be able to do something for you. Like if the value that you desire isn't there, like there's no need for you to kind of push the envelope. So I like the fact that the New Orleans Saints aren't just acting desperate. Like if they would have like just been giving players away week after week with, minimal like value coming back to them, then I would be sitting up here. It's like, man, we really in more trouble than the Saints are in real trouble than I even thought. So I think they're trying to be realistic about where they are, but at the same time, man, they want fair compensation for those players. So, I think that's fair. TJ, we just saw the Dolphins GM since 2016 get relinquished from his position. Do you think we can possibly see the same with Mickey in the next few years? I don't think that Mickey Loomis will ever like be gone from this organization, maybe from the title of general manager. I think it'll be more of a situation Cartel, where they allow Mickey Loomis to save face. Like they would, allow him to step down, maybe have a conversation behind the scenes that the media isn't privy to, or most people aren't privy to, but it's like a way where they're just saying that, okay, he's getting up there in age, he's going to step down and get some new blood in there. I don't think it's ever going to be a case where Gail Benson is going to fire Mickey Loomis from his position because, once again, he's the executive vice president of his football team. So regardless, he's going to be instrumental in the GM process, which here's the thing, like what Saints fans need to understand, like you will never be from, you will never be away from Mickey Loomis ever. Like, even if he steps down at GM, he's still going to be responsible or being a part of the process of picking his successor. So, it's not as easy as some of these other situations where, you relinquish a GM from his duties, as you kindly put it, Cartel, and that's it, right? But Mickey Loomis, okay, I'm going to step down, but now I'm going to be helping to interview the next guy that's going to come in to replace me. So there you have it. Like, you'll never be from underneath the Mickey Loomis umbrella. My opinion, we are in a situation because of Mick. It's his job to manage this team. He failed to plan ahead when Breeze was in his final year. This is the result. I definitely agree with you on that. Like, I think that the Saints hold on to players way too long. And I have said this on countless occasions, and I unapologetically state this, and I will continue to state this. The New Orleans Saints make decisions way too often based on emotion instead of what is best for business. Like keeping guys around because of the emotional aspect of it instead of a business aspect of it. And this has cost this team a lot of, like, I mean, it has set the team back, in my opinion. It will continue to set the team back because I don't think the New Orleans Saints feel like they're doing anything wrong. As crazy as that sounds, I don't think this organization believes that they're doing anything wrong. I think they feel like the way that they have operated throughout the years is the way that you're supposed to operate as an organization. And in some cases, look, I get it. You want to practice patience. You don't want to be just fire happy, but you also want to be realistic about where your team is and the things that you need to do in order to improve. And I just think that you should never forget the fact that the NFL is a business. Now, I'm not talking about chewing players up and spitting them out. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is looking at your team realistically and looking at the production of said player. And it can't be the fact that, I like the player, he's a leader, what he does in the community, what have you. I don't think that that's ever going to change, regardless to if a player is on your team or not. But you just got to have a realistic view of where you are as an organization. I just think that sometimes the Saints let some of those players cling to their heartstrings and they don't look at the lack of production. They just look at that player being the model citizen, being the locker room leader, being the leader in a community, knowing you can sleep soundly because that player is on your football team. You don't have to worry about a call happening at 3:00 in the morning because that player made a knucklehead decision overnight. Like it's cool and all. And, I respect them for, looking at players as not just assets, but that sometimes you just have to in order for your team to push forward because the wheels continue to turn as we see. And if you don't catch up with the times, man, you're going to find yourself getting lost. And I'm just concerned that the Saints organization are going to get lost because of these practices that they have done over the last couple of years. Will our young secondary be up to the challenge? We'll see on Sunday. I mean, they played well last week. So let's just hope that is a way of that secondary trending in the right direction. So they just need to stack them up right now. I see some positive things in the secondary. I just need to see consistency on top of that. What does a positive, good game for Tyler Shuck look like stat-wise against the Rams? I said this yesterday, Cartel, and I mean this. Like, I think that Tyler Shuck has to show more upside and has to produce better results and stat-wise than Spencer Rattler. Now, some people would say that's not fair, but you have to look at the situation. If we're talking about a guy being a second-round pick versus a guy being a fifth-round pick, you pick that guy in the second round for a reason. You pick that guy in the second round because you felt that he was better or going to be better than a guy that's a fifth-round pick. Now, I don't want anybody to get this misconstrued. I'm not saying that I need or want to see Tyler Shuck go out there and throw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. But the offense, to me, has to look a little bit more efficient. They have to take advantage of opportunities, and he also has to do some things that Spencer Rattler didn't do, right? And as far as his stat line, if he can throw for like 2 touchdowns, maybe 270 yards or something like that, maybe completing between 60 to 65% of his passes, hopefully, around 65 to close to 70. I think that would be suffice. Now, is it realistic? We'll see. But I just think that you need to see something that shows you, the ceiling is high for him. Now, I'm not saying like he got to go out here and outdo Matthew Stafford. I just think that's just wishful thinking. But over the next few weeks, he has got to look better as the Saints starting quarterback than Spencer Rattler did. Like, I feel like that's what he was drafted for. That's the reason why he sat. And that's the reason why the New Orleans Saints coaches, Kellen Moore and his coaching staff, with Nussmeier and crew, they set him on a bench. So I think that he just has to look better. And like whatever way that is, rather it's holding on to the football, rather it's ball security, rather it's, Spencer Rattler would have got a 10-yard gain. He can get a 15, 20-yard gain off it. Like it has to it have to look different. Him playing a quarterback position than Spencer Rattler did. Because if not, then you have to ask yourself, like, why was he put in there in the first place? But, and I'm just saying it from a realistic perspective. Let's see. Spitting facts. It's wishful thinking, but Kellen or Mickey can right their wrongs by trading Rattler for Sanders if Tyler is bad. I think that ship is sailed, Rico. And look, as much as I like Shadur Sanders, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, why? Like, because here's the thing, Rico, and I'm not trying to issue on your logic or your thinking. I get what you're saying, but follow me on this. They can right their wrongs, right? But you're actually trading for a player versus where the Saints are as of right now. Like, they have the number 1 overall pick. So you have a choice of going out there, picking the quarterback, the player of your choice. Now, we're 9 weeks into the season. This can change, but I'm talking about right now as we speak. You can pick whatever quarterback you want. Like the Shadur Sanders thing has sailed, man. Like, it has sailed. You don't need to go back and try to hop in the DeLorean. Yeah, hit that thumbs up button. And go back to 1985 with this thing. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go back to the future or the past or whatever. You can actually go into the future and be able to rectify the wrong, as you say, by drafting a franchise quarterback. Rather it's Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, Ty Simpson, like whoever you want to draft, Lenore Sellers. It doesn't matter. Like you can right the wrong. And you don't have to like trade anything for it. Like you can just draft it. So if it doesn't work out and the Tyler Shuck experience is not ideal, which I hope that that's not the case. Like, cause I'm rooting for Tyler Shuck. I want this man to succeed. I don't want to keep on like going through this process over and over again. Like I'm not, I want to see this guy work out. But if it doesn't, and the New Orleans Saints feel like, yeah, he's okay, but I don't see franchise quarterback. Well, you can draft one very early and get one of the best that the draft has to offer. I've accepted the rebuild phase a few years down the line, and we should be back where we were. Every team have to find their way back to winning, and we will get back there soon. Just patience. Yeah, the NFL world, the fan base doesn't practice patience. Patience is not the strong suit of the modern day fan. We talked about that also on last episode. And if you didn't check it out, I mean, I was a little bit more vocal last episode, but yeah, we kind of talked about that, right? I mean, the modern fan doesn't practice patience. They don't have time to see a player develop. They want to see a finished product or something close to a finished product because people don't like losing, right? Man, people attach their emotions and feelings to a team. It's like a power line or a cable, right? You take on the personality and the feelings and the views of your team. If they winning, you feel good about yourself. You feel confident. You feel like you can take on the world. But when your team is losing, you're down, you're angry, and you just want the pain to stop. So what do? Like, you don't have time to just sit there and assess the situation and say it's going to get better. That's just anything in life. Like, that's just how the modern day fan works. So if we were like in maybe different times, I think what you're talking about, Algiers, is logical, is realistic. But in a modern day world where social media reigns supreme, and we take on this collective way of thinking, and oh man, your team is a loser. Oh man, your team suck. You're like, you don't want to hear that, right? Because you in a way, it's like you don't want to feel that way. Like, you don't want to feel like a loser. You don't want to feel like you're a failure in any way. Like I said, I mean, when you cheer for a team, it's just deeper than you putting on a jersey or a hat. It's like you emotionally invested in this football team. And just like anything in your life, that you're emotional or passionate about, like you're gonna like root for it, support it with every fiber of your being. And when somebody talking about it, then you take it personal. So I just think that when it comes down to it, the modern day fan is just not practicing patience. In some cases, they need to. I hate to ask this question, but got to do this. Which Saints player would play last game as Saint before getting traded? That's a good question, Dalton. I mean, there are a few players out there that I feel probably are going to get traded. I mean, number one to me would be Brandon Cooks. I think Brandon Cooks would probably be at the top of my list. Rashid Shaheed could fall into that category. And I think one of the guards, rather it's Trevor Penning or Cesar Ruiz. Like, I don't see Olave getting traded. I don't see Juwan Johnson getting traded. I don't even see Pete Warner being traded. I think it's more like Brandon Cooks or Rashid Shaheed. Or maybe you can, throw in a bundle package where you can, send Ike Adam, because I don't see the New Orleans Saints using Ike Adam because there's a compensatory pick attached to him. So they're not going to allow him to go out there. And why would you also? Because Quincy Riley has been playing pretty well. So, and even when he struggles, I mean, that's what you want him to go out there to do, right? To kind of get that rookie rust off of him and, basically go out there, just compete and get better every single week and learn from his mistakes. My favorite line, are you going to eat your cornbread? I think that's everybody's favorite line. Me too, says TJ, what does a step forward look like for the Saints this offseason? Well, a step forward to me is not making the same mistakes over and over again, making those tough decisions that may not resemble what you have done in years past. Like going out there, making sure that you're finding the best players to fill voids that is missing from your team. And also at the same time, taking a realistic look at where you are as a franchise. Taking a real good look at what you've seen from your quarterback position. Taking a real close look at what you've seen from your running backs and wide receivers and all across the board. Like having a fair assessment of where your team is and not an emotional assessment. Because like I said, when you get your emotions involved, sometimes you can't see, the forest through the trees. Like you can't see the imperfections, or when a person is actually, a tad bit slower or being a liability because you're looking at that player in the eyes of, somebody that you love and value and admire, which, look, if you have a player that's been around for a long time, they become a face of the franchise. They become a staple within your organization. So it's kind of hard to kind of turn that off, right? But at the end of the day, you have to look at where that player is realistically and where you feel like this organization needs to go. And if that player is still giving you that production, you come to that conclusion, then by all means, do what you need to do. But if you take a fair look at the production, the stats, the trajectory, and you come to the conclusion, yeah, we may need to cut our losses, then you got to do what you got to do. That is what I feel like is a step forward. Step forward is learning from the things that have gotten you beat or having you looking bad and adjusting to them. That's what I feel like a solid, good offseason would be like for the Saints. Being realistic about where this team is and where you want to go. How does it feel to be me? I don't know exactly what that means, Montez. You got to elaborate on that one, my friend. Some of y'all fans want us to forfeit the rest of the season. Well, look, I enjoy football as well as the next man. Sometimes I feel like the New Orleans Saints are unwatchable, and they have been over the last few weeks. I stand by that statement. I know sometimes like my takes and thoughts and views, I mean, they're wrapped with realism on top of passion. But I mean, they've been unwatchable. I mean, look, even if you put the organization's higher ups on a polygraph test and ask them the question, has your team been unwatchable for the last couple of weeks? Like, I guarantee you, if they say, oh, they've been pretty good, I guarantee that thing gonna start jumping, right? Like, we got to be real about this. They've been unwatchable. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, as frustrating as it has been watching them, you still have to look at the fact that some of these players need these reps against these teams in order for them to get better and for them to be able to work as a cohesive unit. Like, they need that. Like, it's beyond. I want to say Matt Moscona said this. Shouts out to Matt. But he says it's right now it's just beyond wins and losses. Like, if you're still looking at the Saints in 2025 based on wins and losses, like, you just want torture. You just want to torture yourself. It's about looking at players and what they can bring to the table. Can they be cornerstone players? Are they getting better? Are they making plays? The play that they didn't make last week, are they making it this week? That's what this season is about as of right now. Like, this season has been a failure, man. Like, look, they're not mathematically out of the playoff picture, but I think we all can say, like, playoffs is not in the future of the 2025 Saints. So they need those reps. They need these opportunities in order for these guys to get better. So that's what you need to be looking at. And what the Saints can do to get better, rather it's draft compensation or, man, Jonas Sinker is getting better week after week. Quincy Riley, you seen he got beat by this team. Look how he made that play this week. Oh, Danny Stutzman, he had 4 sacks last week. He got 6 this week. Like, looking at guys like that, that's what this season should be about to you. But I can't tell you what to do. But if you're sitting up here basing the Saints on wins and losses now, like, you just want to torture yourself, in my opinion. Side note, TJ, you and Big Six, a.k.a. Pac-Man, have inspired me. And with that video, I will be joining Adult Flag Football League in Virginia next August, bro. Yeah, man, that's good, man. That's good. I already said, man, look, for those that don't know, I'm playing in an adult football league, a flag football league. Man, number one, I'm doing this for my son and my wife, just to give them something, like, man, he just out there just doing something, having a good time. But, when, I go back and watch the video that I put up there, and I'm sorry, I apologize for people that, if y'all, man, I want to just hear about the Saints, but y'all know how we do it, man. For those that have been here, man, we just kind of just talk and shoot the breeze here. But I'm doing it for my son. My son is 6 years old. He's in flag football, and he's just learning to get better. And him watching me play, he asked me, it's like, Daddy, he's like, do you think that I can be good like you are in football? Like, do you know how that makes me feel? Like, the fact that man, okay, after a game, I'm 39 years old, man. Them limbs, you know what I'm saying, ain't healing up the way that they once did. I mean, look, you know, you running fast and stuff like that, you stretching. He wants to go out there as soon as like he gets home from school saying, Daddy, you get your flag, I get my flag, let's play some flag football. Like, you know, like it and also just seeing him run down the sidelines, you know, as I make plays. Like that's the stuff that matters to me. And you know, just having memories like that. Like I like, man, some of y'all been rocking here for a long time, man. Y'all have seen my son grow right in front of your eyes. There's nothing in my life that is more meaningful. Like I can do a million podcast episodes. I can get a million endorsements. I will give all that stuff up, you know, just for me to, you know, for my son to one day say I had a great day. So just being out there, man, like, and showing him, you know, like you can do it. And, you know, and him watching me play it is, you know, makes him motivated to want to play too. So if that's, you know, what it takes, then I'm all for it, man. So, you know, it's way beyond me. Like, look, I played football when I was younger and, you know, had my moments and stuff like that. But, you know, right now it's just about having fun and giving him something where he can just laugh or, you know, look at and, you know, have a good time and think back when he gets older. Like, man, my dad did this. So I don't know. You know, he may not never play football, but just showing him that he can do it. Do you think we were better off looking to draft our free agency within coming to fixing the offensive line issues we're dealing with this season? I mean, you could have Cartel, but look, I understand why the New Orleans Saints, like they just trying to get back to the middle, Cartel. So they just kind of, you know, gluing and taping this thing together for right now. Like, man, this is like, you can tell the decisions that were made by this football team throughout the season that they just trying to get through it. Like they not making any aggressive moves. Like they ain't trying to go out here getting a bunch of 30-somethings like we close. And this is what we wanted. Because look, the argument was we're not close. We're not close. We're not close. So we can't hold the organization accountable because they're acting as such. Now they're acting as if they're not close. So they're like, okay, let's hit the reset button. So the decisions that were made by them going out here getting 20-something guys that are on cheap deals, it pretty much tells you, man, like, okay, we're going to rock with these boys this season. Let's see where we at with our money better and our situation better in 2026. So I'm looking at 2026. Like the energy that I'm coming with in 2026 is going to be completely different because now it's like, okay, man, y'all got a draft under y'all belt. Y'all done got y'all money right. All right, now it's time for us to really start holding y'all accountable for some of these decisions. Like Kellen Moore, I'm still looking at him in a certain way. I'm not going to completely like just be off this train because I mean it's an impossible situation. But there are some things that I'm seeing from a leadership perspective. I feel like a coach needs to have. So maybe next year he'll feel a little bit more confident. 2 years, 2 drafts under his belt, feeling like the team is a little bit more of his than maybe a Dennis Allen team. I don't know, but you know, I need to see it. This ownership ruining the Saints, and Pale, sorry to say what you say, TJ, they always a day late and $1 short. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the leadership up top has been questionable to say the least, man. I mean, you look at the Pelicans, they got a lot of talent over there. Why they can't win? The Saints, you know, man, they had opportunities to kind of fix the situation. They held on to players too long. Why did they do that? So, yeah, I mean, look, I mean, they have not looked good, and both organizations are looking pretty bad right now. And, you know, I think it has a lot to do with the fact, and I'm sorry, I think it's just the fact that Gail Benson doesn't really know that much about football. And I think that she trusts, which she should, right? I don't think that an owner needs to meddle in affairs. But I also believe that owners need to understand the ins and outs of the things that they're actually running. And, you know, like a lot of people have been paying attention to Jim Irsay's daughter, who has inherited the team, and she's the owner, Carly Irsay Gordon. And she now, like, man, she's been doing this for years, but like she is getting a lot of attention because she stands on the sidelines with a headset on and listens to the game, and she has a notepad and she's writing down notes. And they asked her about that. They asked her, why is she on the sidelines, right? And she plainly said, she's like, you know, football is a different type of organism. I'm paraphrasing. She was like, you have to understand the ins and outs. Like, you need to know what's going on. You need to know why that play didn't work. You need to know what we need to do as far as like providing resources to the team. Have we provided those resources? Don't seem like it's coming together. And she pretty much said, you need to know what you're dealing with, who you're dealing with, if you're paying people millions upon millions of dollars. And she encouraged all owners that may not be as knowledgeable at the game, in the game, to probably do what she's doing, because that's why she's doing it, because she said that she didn't know that much about the game, so she's learning. Now, I'm not saying that Gail Benson need to be sitting on the sidelines with a headset. That's just not her. But what I'm saying is, like, you got to know that you're trusting the right people, that these people are putting your team in the best position to win every single time. And it can't be the fact that, they just been doing this for a long time, they know what they're doing. Well, things happen. There's a lot of people that were good in certain eras of business, and then time has passed them by as a brand new era, and time has left them behind. Rather, they haven't taken advantage of the modern day resources, or rather they still stuck in a stone age. Trying to do the same thing like some of these OG GMs and OG, up top front office guys have done. So you got to be able to make those adjustments and understand, okay, man, I have respect for this person. I know they've been doing it for a long time, but we need a little bit more. And have they lost a step? Have they allowed the modern day process to slip by and slip through the cracks on them? Like, you got to be able to know these things instead of just sitting up there saying, I trust you, I trust you, I trust you, because you've been here for a million gazillion years. Like, it's beyond that. So, like I said, I'm not saying she got to sit on the sidelines with a headset, but you need to know what's going on with your football team, man. That's facts though, TJ. I feel what you're saying. It don't feel good seeing our team lose after being one of the best for over 15 years. Yeah, I mean, look, it's an emotional thing. Like I said, it's like a family member. Like, man, you don't want nobody talking about your family member. Like, at the end of the day, we can say we don't care, but we do at the end of the day, right? I mean, when you have watched a team be the epitome of successful for a decade plus, and then all of a sudden it's like the worst team in the NFC, like that's shocking. That's shocking. Like, there are some of you out there that never really experienced the Saints looking as bad as they have this season. And and I understand how you feel. I don't want to keep on like going back to the times, because I don't feel like, oh man, I grew up in the 90s. I mean, I grew up in the 90s. I know what bad Saints football looks like. So I feel like that kind of helps me to be able to, deal with this situation now. But that don't mean that I want to see the Saints like kind of resort back to that. It's kind of like what Nate was saying. He was like, there's a standard that Drew Brees left behind. When I was talking to him a few weeks ago, I mean, that's just the truth. Like, it's a standard. Like, and when you are a part of that standard, like when you've seen that standard, that's all you know is that standard. Like, it makes it even tough to have to deal with these football games and watching this team look like, like watching paint dry. It's terrible. Hey, TJ, what Saints have to do to beat the Rams? They have to control the time of possession. They got to be able to run the football effectively, and Tyler Shuck has to make really good decisions. They got to maybe put some pressure on Matthew Stafford, cause him to make a mistake, and the secondary can't get beat. I mean, look, it sounds like every week for a football team, but that's basically what it is. Like, they got to be able to control the line of scrimmage. They got to be able to run the football, and they cannot get behind the 8-ball that involves Tyler Shuck having to throw the ball time after time after time. Like, you have to make sure that your team is staying ahead of the chains, and they are in it where you won't have to close up your playbook, right? Yeah, I mean, it sounds simple, but at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Let's see, TJ, November 1st is All Saints Day. Well, look, if it's All Saints Day, hopefully, that day will help the New Orleans Saints be able to win on the 2nd. Let's see, TJ, can we possibly see a segment at least once a week in the future where you and Big Six talk flag football to recap y'all game week? I mean, that would be interesting, man. That would be interesting to do. But right now, he's in all season. We just kicked up a couple weeks ago. So yeah, I mean, look, I would love to like do something like that, to be able to, sit down with him and stuff like that. But we'll have to see about that. Ruiz is getting John Cena treatment when he was victim of abusive relationship and getting bullied. Look, I mean, it's a little bit different when it comes to John Cena. Like John Cena was doing everything the right way. People just didn't accept him. Cesar Ruiz out there getting beat most of the time and not looking the part of a first-round draft pick. And people are going to criticize that, especially when you are a number one pick. And the Saints could have got somebody like Jordan Love in your place. Man, I would be shocked if, TJ, if we get our high draft pick and trade down and still get a quarterback and the best defensive player. Yeah, that would be a shock. But if you can get the best quarterback or the best defensive player available, I ain't got no problem with that. TJ, did you see the versus No Limit versus Cash Money? It was great. I didn't see it, man. I didn't get a chance to see it live, but I went back and checked out some of the highlights. That's seemed like it was pretty interesting. But I couldn't see it live because Paxton was having his final flag football game of the year. TJ, that pick six was half Dion Merton Hanks. Was great to see a laugh, a good time for us Saints fans right about now. Yeah, man. Look, that was man. Like first off, I want to make that clear. That was like one of the first times, like I actually ran that far, during a game. When I intercepted the ball, I can say it was on the other team's goal line, so we needed to stop. But just to be able to like run down there and make that play, that was pretty cool, man. So yeah, but it was fun, man. I have a good time, man. A lot of the guys on my team, all of them, as a matter of fact, all of us are like 30-something, fathers, our kids on the sidelines, and we kind of pretty much playing for all the same reasons, and we develop like a friendship in the process because we all kind of like same age, same level type stuff. So it's pretty cool, man. Like we ain't at this age, man. We're not the most athletic guys in the world. Some of us, used to play football and all that kind of stuff, but we just go out there and work together and try to make some interesting moments. And we've been doing that for the last couple of weeks. Time passed by. Kamara is one, but feels he still got it. Just needs better play calling. Yeah, I think he does still have it. But I don't think this offense under Kellen Moore is going to get it out of him. I don't know if they like, man, okay, man, we're gonna give you a red shirt season or something, man, because they're not utilizing Alvin Strips at all. Kyron Williams has fumble issues. He does have fumble issues, but when he doesn't fumble, he's like one of the best running backs in the game. TJ, do you think it is with another game? Do you think it is? Are you saying you think we're going to win? The Saints going to win another game? I kind of figured that. Like I kind of interpret it. But yeah, I think they'll win another game. I don't think they're going to like not win no more games. I think they're probably going to win maybe one or two more. I wouldn't put him no more than 3 wins this season. This team is not very good, man. TJ, what does your gut tell you about Tyler Shuck? Does your gut feel like he will work out? I think I think he'll work out, and I expect for the New Orleans Saints offense and playbook to look different too. I expect for it to look different too. I think that you might see a different offense with Tyler Shuck because number one, you have to. And I want people to understand this. I know what people are going to say. Well, where these plays was at when Spencer Rattler was quarterback. Nah, bro, please. That's not – look, I like Spencer Rattler. I was rooting for the guy, still rooting for the guy. But come on, man. Like, we have to understand that, you have to understand schemes, and sometimes schemes change due to quarterbacks' player skill sets. So it's going to look different. So I expect the playbook to look a little bit different under Tyler Shuck than it did with Spencer Rattler. was you more No Limit or Cash Money growing up? I think both are legends. Look, it's the same thing I've been advocating and for Saints fans to do, and what I've been doing and what I've been practicing. Algiers. The thing about it is, I like both of them, and I still do. Like I didn't pick sides, you know. That's like when people were like, "Man, who you used to like, WWE or at the time WWF or WCW?" Both of them. I was turning to TNT and USA back to back, watching both of them. Right? You know, what you like, AEW or WWE? Both of them. Right? You can like both things. I don't understand like this pick a side like culture that we have now. Like you can like two things. Like you can root for two things. Right? You can root for two people. Like you don't have to pick sides and choose sides or whatever. Like it's like, would you pick between your two kids? Like who you love more? Well, some of y'all, it depends on the day, right? They get on your nerves, but realistically, man, like you're not picking between your kids. Like you love them all the same, right? Who you love more, your mom, like, or your wife? Like, come on, man, you love both of them, right? Like, why is in this world like we have to pick sides and choose sides? I don't get it, right? You know, like I just don't understand it. I just don't. I want to see this guy do well, and I think that they'll have a game plan. And hopefully that game plan be suitable to his skill set where he can maximize his potential, where we won't be having to have these conversations. As much as I think that Fernando Mendoza is talented, Dante Moore is talented, it would be great to see Tyler Shuck live up to that potential where the Saints feel like he can be. And we up here talking about getting Reuben Baines or Jordan Tyson or something like that. That's what I want. Now, I never want to like sit up here talking about, man, let's go into the draft. Despite the fact that I feel like, man, maybe a quarterback ain't in the building. Like, prove me wrong. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with sitting up here saying I was wrong about a player or wrong about a situation. I wanted to see them both thrive. Like if Tyler Shuck ends up becoming the starting quarterback of the Saints and the Saints like, okay, Spencer, we're going to try to trade you. I hope Spencer goes somewhere, wherever the Saints trade him, and he finds success there. Or, the fact that maybe they'll use one of these guys as a backup quarterback and, they come in and if something was to happen to the Saints starting quarterback, they can find success. Like, they play for the Saints. And, they both have, like, good qualities. So I'm not preying on these guys' downfall, despite the fact that I have, I'm skeptical about some of the play. That doesn't mean like, okay, man, I want to see this guy fail, and I don't feel like they got what it takes. Like, I think that Tyler Shuck does have what it takes. But, we hold on to narratives and not allow guys to be able to kind of break free or shake away from it. Like, I just think that, like, a lot of us hold on to scout reports way too long. Oh, the narrative is that he shakes under pressure. Well, what quarterback don't? Like, like some people like, man, he unflappable. Like, man, nobody want to like take a shot in the chops. Like nobody want to do that. Like, like, man, nobody wants to do that. Right? I want to see him rise above that situation. I want to keep on holding on to scouting reports. Oh, he hold on to the ball too long. Okay. Hopefully he can get away from that. Hopefully he can be able to trust himself. Like you ever just thought maybe he try to, he flinch a little bit because, I mean, he has had a broken collarbone, leg hurt. Like, bro, like that just, I don't know, that's just human nature. Like you get hurt or you have like a traumatic experience, like that can affect you psychologically sometimes, man. I just hope that he can be able to break free from that. I'm going to take a few more and then we can go ahead and get up out of here, folks. It says, this real TJ, my mom, been a fan since 1967. She says before the season wanted Tyler due to deep ball. Now, let's see. Rattler fan here, but like you said, hope wrong, won't be mad. Look, like I said, you can, to me, I feel like at the end of the day, it should never be deeper than you being it should never be deeper than the fact that you're a Saints fan. Like you can root for both guys. Like I kind of like, I don't know, man. I just don't like the phrase, I'm a Spencer Rattler fan, I'm a Tyler Shuck fan, because like you just want, like, you want to see these guys succeed. And I don't like the fact that when I was giving Spencer Rattler like props and saying good things about him, people were saying that, oh, you like Spencer Rattler. Oh, you want to see him succeed. Oh, he a franchise guy to you. Oh, you don't like Tyler Shuck. Like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, what are we doing here? It's like we overinterpret certain things. If Spencer Rattler is the Saints starting quarterback, and I'm looking at this guy, like I want to see this guy succeed. I want to see this dude be the starting quarterback and the Saints lose week after week after week. And yes, I do feel like, okay, you put some things around him, probably more so than maybe a Patty Mahomes or a Josh Allen. That's just not him. Yeah, I think that you will be able to have a functional offense with him. But that don't mean that, just because I'm saying that means, I never want to see Tyler Shuck. Oh, Tyler Shuck ain't never going to be a good quarterback. I don't know how some people think. It's like if you give a guy props or you want to give a guy time or you want to okay, man, don't want to just wash your hands with somebody as quick as some other people do. Oh, you just want to see him succeed. Oh, you just don't like it don't have anything to do with that. Sometimes you're just like, okay, this is where the Saints are. He's the quarterback. Okay, I can see some things. You got to kind of warm up to it. I mean, that's just the reality of it. It don't mean that, okay, I'm giving this guy props. Oh, I don't like the other guy. I don't know how we get to that. Like, that's like calling out, okay, man, Devin Neal's a really good running back. Oh, man, you must want to see Devin Neal start over Alvin Kamara. Think about all the years. Like, it has nothing to do with that. And I just think that sometimes we can't differentiate between the two. And I don't get that. Like, you can like two things. Even though this society has shown us and talked to us and can try to convince us that we can't. You can like two things. You can like two people. You can root for two things. You can root for two people at the same time. If you got two kids, right? Okay, it's like the 49ers and the Bills, right? Who you think Nick Bosa and Joey Bosa's mom and dad cheering for? They cheering for both of them. Yeah, you can do that. I don't know. Last question of the day says, we know why there's such a divide and why they assume it is the South now. I heard Rattler lovers way too many times. Like I said, man, look, you should just support both guys. You should just support both guys. Like when Spencer Rattler was in there, I'm big up in Spencer Rattler. I'm talking about his qualities. I like the kid. I like Tyler Shuck. Like Tyler Shuck is the starting quarterback. So guess what? I'm going into the game looking at him, and I'm gonna evaluate him based on the things that I see. I think that he has a lot of upside, a lot of great qualities. I stand by that, and I don't feel hypocritical at all because I gave props to Spencer Rattler when he was starting and still believe that way. And I'm going to continue to support Tyler Shuck. I don't think that's hypocrisy. I don't think that's hypocrisy at all, for rooting for two guys. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate that. Much love to each and every one of you. Shouts out to everybody in the chat. I apologize if I didn't get to your questions. I thought that this was a very good show. Very efficient, man. Shouts out to everybody with your questions, making the show what it was on today. If you like the State of the Saints podcast, I ask that you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel to help the channel to grow. We've been here since 2018. For those that don't know, I'm a native of New Orleans, born and raised there. Been a Saints fan my whole entire life. Been as long as I remember. I say about 4 years old. Where I guess that memory goes into your subconscious, and you remember it forever, right? And just love this football team, man. Have had a privilege of doing some pretty dope things and dope things involving the Saints. Talked to some really respectable guests, in the world of sports. Got that available for you on a playlist. You want to check that out. We go to places like the Senior Bowl, NFL Combine, and like I said, man, we pretty much grew this show from the bottom. And, we're continuing to grow as a show. And shouts out to everybody that's here right now. Continuing to make this show successful and fun to do despite the Saints record situation and how the team is looking. We're still going to be here. Still going to be here talking Saints. Still going to be here giving you all everything we have pertaining to the team. So if you're into the Saints, if you're into real talk about the Saints, I have a little thin skin from time to time here. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow me on X at TJAY Jones 8. You can interact with me. I tweet during the game. We do post-game shows immediately following the game on Bleacher Report first, and then we come to this channel. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of fun. If you're going out tonight, trick-or-treating with your family and friends, make sure you're being safe out there, folks. All right, we don't want nobody to get hurt. Make sure that you all are being safe. Don't be out there in the street. We won't hear no stories about anybody getting hurt. All right, y'all be happy. Y'all be safe. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Roll back them clocks, because y'all know we're about to hit daylight saving time. Not the best time, getting dark at 5:30, 6 o'clock. But hey, man, that's where we're at right now. And looking forward to covering and talking to you all about the Rams New Orleans Saints game, win, lose, or draw, right here on the State of the Saints podcast. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I got to say is, who dat?